Hello everyone, my name is Claudia Valenzuela. I am a virtual information and financial counselor for the Saskatchewan region and representing the program Career Loans. Before starting this presentation, I would like to talk a little bit about career loans. So Career Loans is a microloan program and is funded by ESDC, which is a federal and provincial government, and is part of the Foreign Credential Recognition Program. This program offers microloans to newcomers and is available virtually through our website www.careerloans.ca. We offer free career counseling and we focus mainly in offering microloans up to $15,000 to international trade professionals who may have been declined for loans in the past. The low interest microloans with repayment periods of up to 4 years could certainly be beneficial to eligible clients who access our services. And the amount of years to pay the loan depends on the amount of money that is borrowed, and the minimum is $1,500. We also offer appropriate access to services to other organizations and coaching throughout the time of the loan. So moving on into our topic today of career action plan steps and goal setting, I'll tell you first of all a little bit about myself. I have over 2 decades of experience as a career and employment counselor, assisting international trained professionals, and my passion and my drive is exactly that: seeing people succeed and empowering themselves to move into their careers of choice and feel happy with the choices that you make. So for that, it is important to discuss what is a career action plan. So a career action plan really is a step-by-step guide to successfully complete your foreign credentials recognition process, perhaps identify the educational or training requirements that you may need, or employment opportunities that you are looking for based on your identified career goals. So you always have to make a plan. And what else you need to know about career planning? Well, this process really never ends, and throughout your career life, there will be 5, 7, or even 10 times where you will be changing careers for one reason or the other, because you moved to a different country, or because you got tired of doing what you were doing, or because you came so good at what you were doing and then now you want to move to the next stage and you're not sure what it is, right? So for that, we are going to touch base on 5 main topics for helping you in achieving those goals and help you establishing a clear career action plan and goal setting. So the first step is self-assessment, then career exploration, how you find your fit, taking actions and establishing goals, and taking steps within those goals with examples. So it is like a ladder. So you have to start from step 1 and end the process with step 4. So step 1 is self-assessment. And what is it? What is self-assessment? Well, it's all about assessing yourself, right? It's a process of looking at yourself to assess the aspects that are important to you and to help you identify who you are. And not too many people spend much time on yourself, right? You know about everybody else, but about you, at times you don't even want to think about it because it's so challenging. But in your career, you are the only one who has to go through this process. Of course, there are professionals that will help you along the way, but the long and extensive homework has to come from you because you are the only one knowing yourself better than anybody else. Let's take a look at the different steps that are required to consider in the self-assessment. And they are very, very important. So please pay attention to what is important to you, right? With the work-related values, for instance, are those things that you appreciate the most at work. For instance, if you really, really need flex time, okay, is this job giving me that flex time? If you value recognition, Am I in the right environment? If you value independence or job security, what is the pay like? It will help me to move up the ladder. So all those are considerations that you have to find out through time, and then also through research and talking to people. The next one is the interest. What is it that you like the most about the job that you do, and the things that you don't like about the job, and past jobs as well? So if you know that overall one of the things that you didn't like the most was calling people over the phone, so then probably the best choice would be to do something else that doesn't have to do much with calling too many people or working in a call center, right? Still, we'll have the opportunity to make calls to clients and so forth, but not with the intensity of maybe working as a recruiter, which requires a lot of cold calling, right? So, and the next one is the personality type. The personality type is a classification of different types of individuals, your social traits, motivational drives, the needs and strengths and weaknesses and attitudes. So, it is important to identify as well the aptitude that is different, your natural talent, the learnability that you have about something, or a capacity that you acquire through a skill, the competency that you have to do certain jobs. So some people are very gifted in math and physics, and or maybe in the creative part, and that's an aptitude that they have, but maybe they are not so inclined to work in areas, for instance, if you have an aptitude in math and you don't want to work as an accountant, well, it's because it's not necessarily matching with the values that you have. So that's why the self-assessment is very, very helpful. Developmental needs. The preferred work environment is the type of work that you see yourself doing. For instance, is the working in indoors environment, outdoors, or maybe you prefer a combination of both. You prefer also a quiet office environment. Maybe a small or medium-sized company would be good for you, or maybe you want to work in a multinational and work all over, travel all over the world, or maybe you appreciate a calm environment that stimulates your mind. So you have to think about who you are again. And now going to the developmental needs, these are the type of training or education you may need or can complete the type of work that you want to do. You need to ask yourself, what challenges do you face day by day? What are the most frustrating parts about the role that you do? What areas of this role or the organization do you wish you knew more about it? What skills or additional training would help you to work more productively or effectively? Because at the end of the day, that will help you to move ahead in your career. It will help you to for managers to notice your efforts and your expertise. And also considering the realities. The realities are those circumstances that may influence your ability to train for an occupational or for an occupation or work. Because sometimes, again, the reality is, if you are, let's say, you have an executive role, and you're required to travel most of the time, and you are a single mother, you don't have anyone to leave your kid with, so maybe that might not be too realistic at the moment, even though the job might be great for you, but the reality is something else. So you just have to find there is a fine balance where you have to assess all the pros and cons. You will identify the career interest that may be a good fit for you during the self-assessment step, but you will need more information before you can make a final decision. And on step 2, you will be able to find that. But before that, we move into the second step, we are going to touch base on a few links that will be very useful to you. And I really chose the main ones that I think it would be helpful to you. So the first one is the careerprocanada.ca. This one gives you a comprehensive list of many free self-assessment tools that will help you to define your personality or the interests that you may have overall, or the aptitudes that you have. So it's very useful. So then, moving on into the career exploration, this exploration process focuses on learning about the occupations that seem to be a good fit based on the results of your self-assessment and any other professions that interest you. So you realize that you enjoy working outdoors, that you enjoy working with people, that you are very creative, that you like learning constantly. So now you have to go through the exploration stage. There are some great tools again here, but one of the main ones that I like to share with you are these ones, the employability skills that is made through the Conference Board of Canada. This was done a while ago along with employers to assess what are the type of skill set that they are looking for employees. So it will give you a list of what are the essential employability skills that any employee should have in terms of communication, in terms of working, in terms of interpersonal skills, numeracy, and many other categories. And I suggest to highlight those areas or keep in mind those areas that you're very strong at. Maybe your analytical skills and presentation skills are very good, as well as your numeracy. So then those are categories that would be useful for the employer to know. Also making sure that it matches with the occupation, and that is the next link that I'm showing you, the National Occupation Classification Code, the NOC. This is a Canada's national system of organizing and describing occupations, and it can help you to locate information about occupations found throughout the Canada's job market. It will show you the description of the job, at what level is that, if it's a managerial role, or what type of education is required, if it's basic, bachelor's degree, master's degree, how many years of experience, what is the type of training required, what is the experience, and also alternative careers that use transferable skills. And that would be very useful when you are not able to find the job that you're looking for right away, but there are other related choices that might be also useful for you to consider. So then the next one is the labor market information, and the 2019 Saskatchewan Detailed Occupational Outlook. This one provides you with an occupational outlook from 2019 to 2023, and provides labor market information for 437 occupations. This one is intended to inform about career choices, about workforce planning and decision making for a variety of users, including employers, industries, sector councils, governments, employment and career practitioners, job seekers, and learners. So really it's applicable to everyone, and this one is one of the reasons why you need to do that research and find out what is it that you find about your occupation. So the labor demands in Saskatchewan, so we have the industry labor demand, the outlook, and then the labor demand. So the first one is a report that provides a forecast of job openings and employment growth for 16 major sectors in Saskatchewan for a 5-year period as well, from 2019 to 2023. It includes the top 5 occupations with the most job openings for each industry. So I strongly encourage you to check that one, as well as the labor demand outlook in Saskatchewan, which provides an overview of Saskatchewan forecasted job openings by occupational group and by educational skills level. So if you have a pretty good idea of all these things, you will have a good start. Another area that is very important to consider is the salary guide, and I included this one just because you need to know more or less what is the value that you bring to the employer, to the market. Even though you are new, most of you might be new to the province or might be new to Canada and you're starting in the workforce here, so you need to be aware of as much information as possible of what's going on in the labor market. So these salary guides help you to assess what is the value of your experience, considering that you are starting the workforce. So always don't undervalue yourself or oversell yourself, but somewhere in between will be good. Robert Half gives you a comprehensive list of positions, temporary, contract, and full-time positions in administrative roles, legal, technical, and creative roles mainly. And particularly in accounting and finance, they are pretty good on that. The Hayes salary guide gives you a more extensive list of positions, but I also encourage you to keep in mind that keep checking how many job postings they have in each category, because for instance they might not be that expert in terms of business, but they might be very, very good in the area of energy utilities and mining, and the area of engineer and technical support, which is the case as well as in construction, in the areas of everything that has to do with civil engineer and those areas. So, and the next one, Randstad, they provide information in different areas too, like administrative, customer service, an engineer, finance, human resources, sales and marketing, skilled trade, technologies, and healthcare, and it goes by industries, by provinces. So take a look at that, see which one. I can't say one is better than the other, and there are many others that you may find useful. These ones are for your information and help you assess what is it that is important for you, to help you move into the next stage, that is finding your fit. After all this effort, finally it's time to make a match and find your fit. And in this step, you will decide which occupation is the best fit for you based on what you learn about yourself during the step 1 and 2. Right? So you are compiling information about you, and then you're having a better sense of what opportunities realistically you'll be interested on, and what the market is looking for as well, and how you make that match. So some of the key points that you have to think about it is that pursuing your career in Canada is a process of exploration. It's a constant process of exploration, never ends. And the more you research your career of interest, the better it would be. And it's important to understand that your preferred career of choice may not be feasible initially, so it's always advisable to have one or two alternatives in which to fall back. You have to assess the pros and cons of every available career option, and then by process of elimination and assessing, going back to who you are and what is it that you enjoy doing and what is it that you value the most, make a decision and give a serious thought to how you prepare to enter a chosen career. because it's all about understanding yourself and about understanding the market. You have to understand the nature of what are the job duties are all about, the educational requirements. If you meet those, remember if it was outside of Canada, so what is the equivalency in Canada, and what are the steps that you need to take? And again, career loans can support you with some of the expenses that might incur throughout this process, and if you require additional certification or designation that might take longer, that's when microloans come in place. Also, the type of earnings that you're making, and what is the future outlook in the labor market. Think about what are the chances of your career in the next 5 years. If you notice that there are not many requirements for your career anymore, or it's almost like in a plateau or dying, or maybe in your province there is not such a demand, but in other provinces they are desperate for that. So is when you have to think about what choices to make. It is essential that you are able to complete additional education and training certifications and requirements in Canada, because that's what employers value the most. Not to say that your experience is not valued, but certainly it provides you with more chances and more opportunities if you have completed a Canadian certification, because it's what employers understand the most. And if you need options to finance your next course or certifications, as I mentioned, Career Loans is available to provide you with those. And I encourage you to visit our website. So your job should provide financial stability to support your lifestyle. And when I mean financial stability, you have to think about what are the expenses that you have at the moment. If you have to travel quite a long distance and you spend most of the time traveling and it costs you a lot of money, maybe that's not the right position for you. Or maybe if you have to work night shifts and you don't get to see your family and nobody to take care of your kids, that's another reason why you have to reconsider your choices. If the choice that you thought initially is not working, so then you have to go back to step 2 and career exploration and find a new way of exploring options a little bit further before deciding what to do next. So then you don't feel lost in the whole process. But if you're okay with what you research and so far you realize, yes, I am on the right path and I understand who I am, and yes, there are demands and for my skill set in the province where I'm living. So the next thing is taking action, and for that it is when the individual feels empowered to do something about their career of choice. And during this step you will write a career action plan. It will serve you as a guide to reaching your goals of getting a job in the career you deem to be good match during step 3. You need to identify what long-term goal and short-term goal you will have to reach to get to the ultimate one, which is maybe becoming a designated engineer. Your career action plan must have both long and short-term goals, and it is imperative to include the steps to take to reach each one, along with ways to get around barriers that might get in your way. So when you're setting goals, to make a well-informed decision pertaining to your career action plan, we recommend that you adopt the SMART goal setting method. And probably some of you already heard about that. So the SMART goal setting is done by being specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So I will explain you a little bit about each of these areas. So for instance, if you're setting up goals and you think about a specific, what do you mean by a specific? Well, not being generic. So it would be something like completing my certification in 4 weeks, or it would be something along the lines of increasing your performance matrix in the next 2 months at work, or earning a degree or professional certificate in the next 6 months. Or maybe my goal is changing jobs from this entry level role to the next one by um, getting involved in different projects and learning additional skill set, but you have to be specific on what are those things. So measurable, when you're making a smart goal measurable, meaning your goals must be measurable, have a time frame for achieving those goals, and a way to determine when you have to reach them. So again, you have to specify the time, you have to make them achievable, and you have to be realistic for that. So set up yourself for success and not for failure. And then, even if it's a small goal, or a big goal but broken in different steps, and might take you a year, and every month you are accomplishing something. So that's something that would be more realistic and more manageable. Make it relevant, pair each goal with a relevant action, and then of course, if it's at work, make it relevant to the type of work that you do. Time bound is the goal that you must be reachable within your time frame. So as I mentioned, it's good to divide a long-term goal in small achievable goals, and it's better to take baby steps than one big giant leap. So there are more chances to accomplish what you're looking for. Some of the steps or examples that I can share with you. The first one is for instance, to have my foreign credentials assessed is a specific goal. How I make it measurable: contact and identify credential recognition body such as ICAS or WES, or in Saskatchewan, a regulatory body that is available maybe for the Pharmaceutical Association in Saskatchewan, and follow the submission guidelines. It's achievable? Yes, it's achievable because the association is available there, and then you need to know what are the deadlines and so forth. Relevant: to determine the Canadian equivalency of my foreign credentials, to determine further education and current career prospects is important. So time bound is the process to be initiated within 5 days, for instance, from meeting with my career and training counselor. So as you may notice, the time bound is within 5 days. Try to make it shorter. Try to make it within the next 2 weeks, or even if it happens on the next month, when on the next month this goal will be achievable. And for creating an individual action plan, an online application, for instance, is one of the initial steps, and the task is to visit the Career Alliance website and complete an eligibility quiz and an application form. The targeted date would be, for instance, January 3rd, and the outcome, if you are eligible, you will set up an appointment with an information and financial consultant, and then under notes, just make your personal notes, email counselor, and find the time within a week to discuss the process. So this is an example only of what could be some of the plans that will be created. If you have questions, that you probably will, I'd be happy to provide you with the answers. And I encourage you to email me at info@careerloans.ca if you have questions, but please visit our website, careerloans.ca. Quickly fill in the application, the eligibility criteria in the application. As everything else, there is a process. You can give us a call at 1-888-558-0282, and you can also follow us in social media, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So with this, I just want to say thank you for your time. I appreciate your attention. I know that there will be many things along the way that might happen in your career, but always when you have a doubt, go back to these different steps, and you know that if you need to set up a clear goal, you know what to do. If you need to set up your proper individual action plan, you can discuss it with your service provider, your counselor. You can discuss it with us and help you out with moving ahead with a loan if that's the case. And I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.